Hello and welcome to classes of Breathe. Today we are going to study biology, absorption by roots, the process involved. So let's start. Absorption by the roots. The roots not only fix the plant in the soil giving it support, but the most important and life supporting function of the roots is to absorb water and mineral nutrients from the soil and conduct them into the stem for supply or to the leaves, flowers, fruits, etc. Now, need of water and minerals for plants. Besides being a constituent of protoplasm, water is needed inside the plant body for four purposes. First, photosynthesis. Water is used up in the green leaves as a raw material in the synthesis of glucose. Second, transpiration. A large quantity of water gets evaporated as water vapor during transpiration for cooling in hot weather, for producing a suction force, etc. Third, transportation. Transportation of substances in water solution from the roots upward into the shoot or from leaves to other parts. And the last one, mechanical stiffness. Water provides turgidity which is necessary for the stiffness of plant tissues. Mineral nutrients required by the plant are absorbed from the soil by the roots only. Some of these nutrients are absorbed as salts and some simply as ions. These elements are required as constituents of cell and cell organelles as well in the synthesis of a variety of compounds or enzymes within the cell. Now, characteristics of root for absorbing water. The ability of the roots to draw water from the soil is dependent on three categories. First, surface area of root is enormous. It's a common experience that even a small garden plant such as balsam, when generally uprooted from the soil, shows a thick bunch of rootlets. Second point, root hairs contain cell sap of a higher concentration than that of a surrounding water. Root hairs are the extension of the outer cells of the root. They also contain large vacuoles filled with a solution called cell sap. Some salts are dissolved in it, and the cell sap therefore usually has a concentration higher than that of the surrounding water. This characteristic is an important requirement to draw in water from the outside, that is the occurrence of osmosis. Third, root hairs have thin walls. Like all plant cells, root hairs also have two outer layers, a cell wall and a cell membrane. First, the cell wall is thin and permeable. It allows the movement of water molecules and dissolved substances freely in and out of the cell. And second, the cell membrane is very thin and semi-permeable, which means it allows water molecules to pass through but not the larger molecules of the dissolved salts. The secret of the absorption of water from the soil by the roots lies mainly in this characteristic. Now, absorption and conduction of water and minerals. The entire mechanism of absorbing water and minerals from the soil by the roots, its movement through the thickness of the root, and subsequently its upward conduction through the stem is the result of five main phenomena: imbibition, diffusion, osmosis, active transport, and turgidity and flaccidity. So in this video I will explain only the first 3 points, that is imbibition, diffusion and osmosis, and the last 2 points we will discuss in the next video, that is part 2. So first, imbibition. It is the phenomena by which the living or dead plant cells absorb water by surface attraction. Substances which are made up of cellulose or proteins are hydrophilic, means strong affinity for water. They imbibe water or moisture and swell up. Example, dry seeds, wooden doors swell up on contact with water or an exposure to moist air. So due to imbibition pressure, seed coat ruptures in case of germinating seeds. Now second point, diffusion. It is the free movements of molecules of a substance from a region of their higher concentration to the region of their lower concentration when the two are in direct contact. So let's understand diffusion with a small experiment. Place a sugar cube or a small tablet of a soluble dye or a crystal of potassium permanganate in a beaker containing water in one corner. The sugar, the dye or the potassium permanganate, whichever you have taken, will slowly dissolve and spreads in the liquid. Eventually the molecules of this substance are diffused or distributed uniformly throughout the water. So in this movement of molecules, there was no obstacle of any kind in the path of the molecules of the dye or the solute, and they could move freely in water in all directions. So now next, osmosis. It is the movement of water from the region of higher concentration of the region to the region of lower concentration through a semi-permeable membrane. A semi-permeable membrane is one which allows the passage of molecules selectively. With reference to a cell, the osmosis can be either inward or outward depending on the extent of concentration to the solutions surrounding it. The first one is endoosmosis, which means the outward, inward, and exoosmosis means outward. So endoosmosis, it is the inward diffusion of water through a semi-permeable membrane when the surrounding solution is less concentrated. So this tends to swell up the cell. And the next, exoosmosis, it is the outward diffusion of water through a semi-permeable membrane when the surrounding solution is more concentrated. So this tends to cause shrinkage of the cell. To explain osmosis, we'll take another experiment. So take some concentrated water sugar solution in a Thystel funnel and cover the mouth with a cellophane paper and tie it securely. Invert the Thystel funnel in the beaker containing water and suspend it. Mark the level of the sugar solution on the stem of Thystel funnel. So this is our experimental setup, and as a control we can take another Thystel funnel with plain water filled in it and suspend it another beaker also containing water, and again we will mark the level on its stem. So we'll observe that after a few hours the level of a sugar solution in the Thystel funnel in the experimental setup will rise, and the level of the water in the Thystel funnel in the control will remain unchanged. The level of water in the beaker in the experiment will drop slightly, while the one in the beaker in the control will remain unchanged. If the water in the beaker in the experimental setup is tasted, it is not found sweet. Now osmotic pressure, it is the minimum pressure that must be exerted to prevent the passage of the pure solvent into solution when the two are separated by a semi-permeable membrane, or very simply it's a solution is a measure of its tendency to take in water by osmosis. Now tonicity, the relative concentration of the solution that determine the direction and extent of the diffusion is called tonicity. Based on it, the solution can be of three types. First isotonic, second hypotonic, and the third one hypertonic. So first isotonic, the relative concentration of water molecules and the solute on either side of the cell membrane is the same. So in this solution there is no net movement of water molecules across the cell membrane, so no osmosis. Second hypotonic, in this condition the solution outside the cell has a lower solute concentration than the fluids inside the cell, so the water molecules from the outside will move into the cell, so endoosmosis. And the third one hypertonic, in this condition the solution outside the cell has a higher solute concentration than the fluids inside the cell, so consequently the water molecules from the interior of the cell will move out, so exoosmosis. To understand these 3 points, we will first take an animal cell and we will place it in an isotonic solution, then in hypertonic and hypotonic. So when we place in isotonic, there will be no net movement of water, so it remains the same. Second hypertonic, the water entering the cell is less than the water leaving it, and the third hypotonic, water entering the cell exceeds the water leaving it. And the second, we will take a plant cell and first we will place in it isotonic solution, so no net movement. Second hypertonic, water comes out of the cell, and third hypotonic, water enters the cell. So here our 3 points is completed, and as I have said earlier, the last 2 points we'll do in the part 2. So if you like the video, please turn the black thumb blue and subscribe our channel, and thanks for watching.